Hi everyone, I'm Elise the scientist, and I'm so glad you joined me today. Now, I've got a quick question for you. If I told you about someone that could fly, had super strength, and a cool suit of armor, would you think that I was talking about a superhero? Well, actually, I'm talking about insects. When you think of insects, or what you might know as bugs, you may think of them as annoying pests like mosquitoes. But actually, many insects are more like tiny heroes, like bees and butterflies. Without pollinators like them, we wouldn't have many of the fruits and vegetables that we enjoy every day, and the world would be much less colorful without flowers. There are over 1 million species of insects in the world, and they come in lots of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some insects even have a smell. Having this wide variety of insects lets them do different jobs in their community. Scientists call all the different types of insects insect diversity. And we know that having many different insects around is important for keeping the environment healthy. Insects live practically everywhere. They can be found on every continent. Some insects can even change where they live as they get older. For example, many insects start their lives in the water and end their life buzzing around in the air. Other insects, like monarch butterflies, travel long distances over their lifetime to avoid the cold. Now, I'm sure you've got a lot of questions, like what makes an insect an insect? How do they grow, move, talk, and eat? And why do insects have all these differences in the first place? If you've ever wondered any of those things, you're in the right place, so let's get started. First, let's talk about what makes an insect an insect. Their bodies. Insects are invertebrates, meaning that they don't have a backbone. Actually, their skeleton is on the outside, and it's a hard shell called an exoskeleton. All insects have certain body parts in common, like a head, antennae, a thorax, and an abdomen. All insects also have 6 legs. Some insects have wings, and the ones that do usually have 4 wings. Now, there are 2 ways that insects can grow. One is for insects to basically look the same through their whole life and just get larger over time. However, many insects don't always look the same through their lives. Some change as they get older. For example, a butterfly starts its life as an egg, then a caterpillar, and then a pupae or a chrysalis, and looks completely different when it's flying around. But a caterpillar and a butterfly are still the same insect. Insects have these basics in common, but they also have a lot of differences, like how they sound, how they look, and what they do. Many insects use sound to communicate. For example, male crickets chirp to attract potential mates. They do this by rubbing 2 parts of their wings together, and these produce sounds like you can see us doing here on this washboard. But crickets aren't the only ones that use sound to communicate. If you go outside this summer, you'll hear cicadas in the trees most of the summer long. But sometimes, communicating isn't about sound, it's about how you look. Some insects communicate to animals that may want to eat them, or their predators, that this would be a bad idea because they taste really bad. They do this by using flashy and bold body colors like blacks, reds, oranges, and yellows that act as a warning. This tells predators, "Warning, I taste bad, I might make you sick, don't eat me." Scientists call these visual warnings from insects aposematism. But while some insects warn predators by standing out, other insects try to stay off the menu by blending in. This type of hiding from predators is called camouflage, or crypsis, and it means insects have colors or patterns that match their surroundings. For example, these bagworm caterpillars look a lot like pine cones. Stick insects, or something you might have heard called a walking stick, live up to their name because they look exactly like sticks. But there are even more ways that insects can protect themselves. A lot of insects have armored plating, like beetles, whose outer wings actually aren't used for flight, but instead are used for protection as a hard outer shell. Other insects have spines and spikes like these ants. Some insects even build to their protection, like these caddisflies, who cover themselves in whatever they can find to protect themselves. Now, earlier, I mentioned that some insects have wings that they can use to fly. Different insects have different kinds of wings. Some look like they are made of plastic, like a housefly, or a net, like lace wings. Butterflies are famous for their beautiful, colorful wings, but close up, they look a little different than you might expect. Let's zoom in. And as we zoom in, you can see that these butterfly wings are actually made of scales. Like butterflies, other insects use their wings to get around too. But unlike butterflies, they can make a special buzzing sound as their wings beat to fly. The speed of many species' wing beats create different pitches. For example, a mosquito's wings beat really fast, so the sound of a mosquito's buzz is really high-pitched. But a larger insect, like a dragonfly or a bumblebee, has a slower wing beat, which makes a slower, lower buzz. Now, some bees, usually bumblebees, can vibrate the wing muscles in their thorax, or that middle section that we talked about earlier, while they visit flowers. These vibrations shake the whole flower and cover the bee's body in pollen. The bee then takes that pollen to the next flower, which pollinates the next flower. Bees are also a great example of how some insects live together in colonies. This is the inside of a bumblebee colony, where you can see the queen bee, she's pretty large, and the smaller worker bees walking around the colony. They're taking care of the bee pupae, or the future bumblebees. Other insects can live in colonies too, like ants and termites. Lastly, insects don't breathe like you and me, because they don't have lungs. They have openings on their body that are called spiracles, and these spiracles allow them to take in air. Some insects, like these hissing cockroaches, use their spiracles also to make noise. Listen. That's all we have for you for today. I hope you guys had fun learning about how super insects can be. This was just a small look at the wonderful world of insects, showing how special differences in how insects look can help them do different things. If you're interested in learning more about insects, check out the links below this video for some insect-related arts and crafts, and a scavenger hunt activity where you can go out and find these insects yourself. See if you can find insects that have forms that we talked about today, and think about how those forms might help the insect live. Thanks for joining me on our insect adventure. Bye!